It's officially harvest season on the homestead. We have been bringing in tons and tons of vegetables. We've been bringing in raspberries and all sorts of fruit. The plum tree is completely loaded, but we just did our first big apple picking yesterday. We got about 3 bushels of apples off of our summer apple tree. It's not the biggest harvest we've ever had off of it, but it's still gonna make a lot of really good stuff. When it comes to actually processing that in the kitchen, I have a secret weapon, and it's something that lets me take those apples and turn it into not 1, not 2, but 3 different products, all from the same apples. So I absolutely love this, and it is a major shortcut that I want to share with you guys. I have to get the apples going in the steamer first thing. Otherwise, this is gonna be a really, really long day. We've got 3 bushels of apples to get through. We're gonna make cider, we're gonna make applesauce, and we're gonna make some apple butter. I'm gonna get this going and go get myself a cup of coffee. I have learned from a lot of hard experience that when you're doing big preserving days, or really any preserving days, this isn't going to be that big of one, but it's going to take over the kitchen pretty much for the morning. To do really simple breakfasts, we have our breakfast oatmeal muffins that we make, and we have some really thick yogurt that we have made, and then some hard-boiled eggs in the Instant Pot. And so we just do a really easy breakfast like that. That doesn't take a lot of counter space, but it still gives everybody a good breakfast. Same thing, we'll probably just have a nice big pot of beans and rice for lunch that we can kind of cook off to the side in a crock pot and an Instant Pot. And then to kind of know what you're gonna have for dinner. If it's a really big day and you're just doing hundreds of jars of food, then that's a good time to make sure that you start by having a meal in the crock pot, or something that's just like slide it into the oven and you don't have to touch it. Tonight we're having a roast that'll just go into the Dutch oven. It's a perfect day for it. It's rainy, it's cool. I love that first sip, first thing in the morning. So those juicers are gonna juice for about 30 minutes. Again, I don't wanna run them dry. I just want to get some of the juice out that I would have to cook off anyways. Those are pretty juicy apples. They're the transparents, first thing in the summer. And the fall apples still have a couple months to go at this point. I love this machine. It's a steam juicer. As you can see, it is steaming these apples right on the top. At the same time, it's cooking them, which is gonna mean that we can put them through the mill, and it's gonna turn them into applesauce really easily. It's doing the cooking part for us, but it's also extracting some of the cider. Now, I'm not gonna steam the juices dry. I'm just gonna run them for about 30 minutes away so that I can keep a lot of, I don't want a totally dry applesauce. So that means right here, I'm getting apple juice and I'm getting applesauce. Now, the one big trick to know is that if I decided to juice these a little bit more, I would be going right towards the consistency of apple butter when I ran the rest of the pulp through the mill. So I kind of have a choice right now. Do I want applesauce or apple butter? This morning we're going for a lot of applesauce, but we might do a round or 2 of apple butter because it's one of my favorites. Okay, it's about 10 o'clock in the morning and we're making really good progress. We have 7 quarts, the first 7 quarts of cider in the water bath canner. We've got more cider heating up. We're still steaming apples. So we have more cider coming and lots of apples in here. You can see we've got a little over 1 giant bowl left. There's a little bit more in here. We are making applesauce over here. So as soon as we get through all of the steaming of the apples, we'll be able to switch to making applesauce, or actually canning the applesauce. But at the moment, the stovetop's totally full, so we have to wait till that is kind of done, because we do still need to reheat the applesauce, even though it's nice and toasty coming out. Before you can it, you really want that to be up to a full boil. So we'll be reheating that as soon as we have some stove space. In the meantime, we've been working on some other kitchen projects. We are making our new favorite kind of sauerkraut today. The summer cabbage is actually a little past done. We should have probably harvested it a week or 2 ago, but summer, it gets really busy. We are turning that into sauerkraut. And this new kind of sauerkraut that we are loving is we make it like normal. We just shred the cabbage. We put 1.5 tablespoons of really good salt into the cabbage for about every medium-sized head that we have. But then we put in a ton of chopped garlic and a bunch of fresh dill leaf. Oh my goodness, you guys, after it ferments, it is phenomenal. It is quickly becoming our favorite around here. Oh, I wanted to talk to you really quickly about steaming. When I'm steam juicing the apples, because I'm making applesauce, I don't want to steam juice these totally dry. If I was just trying to get every bit of apple cider I could out of these apples, here we go, I would be steaming these for almost an hour, making sure that there stays plenty of water down here. Never let that section boil dry. You'll have a disaster. You'll ruin your steam juicer. It'll just be a mess. But I would be getting every bit out of there if I was just making apple cider. But because I want the apple sauce, and I don't want that too dry, I want it to actually be applesauce and not just like a super thick apple butter, I want to leave some moisture in there. So I'm only canning it I'm only steam juicing it for about 30 minutes, just until the first flush of juice really comes out. And then I'm stopping it right there, and we're going ahead and getting that over to the apple mill. When we can it, we just fill it up. We put it into the canner. Cider, if you live at sea level, it only has to can and process for 10 minutes. And that's for, I think, the quart and the half-gallon jars, because you can do clear juices in half-gallon jars. If I was making this applesauce kind of the normal way, I'd be chopping my apples and then I'd be putting them in a pot of water and boiling them, or steaming them, just a little bit of water. And so I would be actually losing all of this cider that I'm pulling off these apples. So I love this method because instead of wasting something, I'm actually getting one more product out of it that I'd just be boiling off anyways. I'd have to cook these apples down and then I'd have to run them through the mill. Well, this is doing both of those pieces, where I'm getting these apples, I'm getting them cooked, but I'm also getting all that extra juice that you wouldn't want in your applesauce, because it would make your applesauce way too runny. It's 3:30 in the afternoon and we are ending with a really great looking dinner in the Dutch oven. Let's take a peek in there. Ooh, look at those roasts cooking away. We've got the kitchen clean. We have a few cabbages and some carrots right out of the garden, all ready to go for dinner, for adding into that pot. Look at what else we got done today. That's the feta cheese that's been in the seasoning brine, and it is now out drying, and it'll go in the storage brine in about another day. And that's gonna be so good. There's our sauerkraut. This is 2 half-gallon jars, so a gallon of applesauce that we're just gonna put on the lid on, put it in the fridge for eating up over the next couple days, because we wanted some for breakfast this next week. But look at this, you guys. All of these quart jars, I think this is 28 quart jars, and what is that? 6, 9, 10, 11 quarter pint jars of applesauce, and then 21 quarts of apple cider. But I have to tell you, we have one more thing that we get to make out of our apples. Okay, so remember I told you there were 3 different things that I was gonna make all out of the same apples. We had apple cider, we had our apple sauce, or our apple butter, totally up to you which one you get to make. Today, I ended up going with all just applesauce, but you could definitely add apple butter in. But we still have this part, the pomace, the apple pomace, what's left over after the applesauce had gone through the mill. There's something we can still do with that. The last thing you can do with your apple mash is you can turn it into perfect little tiny piggy feed. If you want to see any other ways that our large family actually gets things done on our homestead, check out this video right here where we had another large harvest day.